We have the king of, that's you guys, right? Straight up. Nothing more to be said about that. That is you. Now, the thing is, you're coming up as the king. You're not coming up as the page. You're not coming up as the knight or the queen, but you're coming up as the king. As the king. And that shows mastery. I mean, the kings are fixed energy. Pentacles is earth. So fixed earth, that is literally the card, one of the Taurus cards. But you're there and it's like, you're good. Think about this. Think about this. So you've got the King of Pentacles, successful, abundant, committed, traditional, whatever that might be. Now, in someone else's reading, for someone who wasn't a Taurus, you know, if we're looking at this energy, because we want to look at it specifically, I'm pulling on Taurus energy here as we pull this message. So you've got the King of Pentacles coming up. And it's like, all right, so what about the King of Pentacles? And that's the energy that's underlying this. And it's, do you know you're enough? First of all, there's that. But secondly, what's the path for you? What is the path that's coming up ahead for you? We've got the Chariot here. I understand this. And this is where we don't see the path ahead clearly. We just don't. And it can be frightening. And so ultimately what the moon asks us is, can you walk this path on faith? You know, just the faith to go forward. Sometimes the answer is no, I can't. Okay, why not? Because there's shadows ahead. Got it, fine. What's in the shadows? That's how it works. If we were literally standing there and you were afraid to move forward, and I said, why? Why are you afraid to move forward? I would ask you that. What's in the shadows? Because you don't know. Think about that. You actually don't know what's in the shadows. That's your fears and doubts. And the moon card is that. It brings up our fears and doubts. It brings up, you know, that might be our path, our destiny ahead, but we're almost afraid to go through it. And if you think about this, so we've got the star here, that's number 17. The moon is number 18. So let's just jump here for a moment. 17 is the star, and that's how, think about it, the tower's fallen. We see our star, we see our path, it guides us, and we start moving forward. However, as we move forward, we don't know where we're going. You can see the stars up there. We're being led forward, and it's walking through the, almost like the valley of death or the shadows. We're walking through this. We don't know. We're going on faith. But we have to pass through this to get to the sunlight, because the sun card comes after the moon. Very much highlighting your fears. Now, this reading actually tells us what those fears are about. They are about you. Those fears are about you, because the King of Pentacles comes up with the moon. You know, will I be enough? Because usually it's something external. And think about that. Even if it is something external, like, will they dump me? Will I get the job? Will I be, you know, are they going to sack me or fire me from work? Think about all of that. You're saying you're not good enough. All of that, if you boil it down to what that fear is, will this happen? Will that happen? And you've heard me say this before. When the moon or the fool come up in a reading, generally it's when someone's question is about what will happen. What's going to happen? What's coming up ahead? Those two cards very clearly say that's not the point. That's not the point. The point, it doesn't matter what's coming up ahead. Do you have faith in yourself to be able to deal with what's coming up ahead? That's big, and I get it, it's big. Especially because you've got the Three of Swords here. So I want to tell you you're enough, first of all. But it's knowing that no matter what comes ahead, I will deal with it. I will deal with it. And I'm just going to say this. Whatever those stories are about that have been limiting you or keeping you back, right? Because we have the Three of Swords here. These are the old stories that we carry around. I mean, have a look at that, right? That almost looks like ink coming out of that heart. Ink. And with the swords, I always think the pen is mightier than the sword, right? And it's words and it's stories. And I want you to think about this, because that's coming up in the past. You've had to. I'm guessing you've faced them. For a lot of you, they've been old triggers, heartache, pain, loss. That's what the Three of Swords is. Now, it usually comes up when something specific has happened to us. And this can be last week, last month, last year. It doesn't matter if it's in the past. Foundation here. But it could have been the last heartache you had, the last job you were let go of, you know, whatever it was. Yes, something triggers the pain, but it also shows us that those three swords have been there forever. You know, if that person, the way that relationship went, say they cheated on me, right? And it's like, oh my God, why do people always cheat on me? Look back, where did that come from? Did one of your parents cheat on the other parent? You know, it can be from that, because these swords, we collected a lot of us when we were very young. It's coming up in the past, so we're not dealing with that energy right now. But think back. That's what's going to allow you to move forward. Because this is all about moving forward. It's all about moving forward, this energy, especially with the Chariot at the heart of this. And so with the Three of Swords, yes, that trigger, you know, the job stuff, the family stuff, the relationship ending, whatever it was that caused the pain. Yes, that was the trigger, but it reveals a deeper hurt that you've been carrying around for a long time, an insecurity, a story that you've been telling. That's why with the Three of Swords, we can change relationships. This is when people say, forget that person, I'm ghosting that person, I'm out, I'm icing them, I'm done. And it's like, all right, cool. Because you're going to go replay that story with the next person. Or screw this job, I'm just going to leave it, I'm not going to do anything. And it's like, great, but you're going to replay that same. And that's when the faces change, but the relationship stays the same. The buildings change or the job titles change, but the office environment is the same, or whatever happens at work is the same. That's because we haven't looked at this. So the Three of Swords, whenever that pain comes up, it is an opportunity to remove those three swords once and for all. Too many of us just let it heal up until the next thing happens. Now, the fact that that's coming up in the past means you have done that. At some level, you've explored your old stories. You've looked at them. And, you know, that's probably, if you want to call it shadow work or inner work, you've done this. You've done this. Otherwise, you would not be coming up as the King of Pentacles here. Because you've done it. You're good. You're solid. You know what you're committed to. You know what your worth is. You know what your value is. You know what you value. Brilliant. But you've done what a lot of earth signs do. And I have an earth moon. I mean, my south node is Taurus. My progressed moon is about to go into Taurus. And my natal moon is Virgo. So I understand earth energy very well. Now, with this coming up, you know what you have. You know what you're worth. You know what your value is. You know what you value. Great. After doing all of that, removing of the swords. But you're still asking, or what's going to happen? What's going to come ahead? Where's my path going to lead me? Where do I go? And it may be that you don't even see a path ahead with the moon there. But this is going to be frustrating, that kind of energy. That's a lot of the signs being this kind of very frustrating energy. Where we might be good on that. I mean, I just did the Aries reading. And it was like, all right, I know you've been fighting, but armor up, we're going in again. There's a new battle coming up. And it's like, wait, what? Like that kind of thing. For you guys, it's because you've done so well within yourself, like addressing the old stories, addressing pain, addressing heartache, addressing loss. Fabulous. But it's not enough just to have attained that and to sit on your throne now. Now it's like, well, let's go forward with that. Let's go forward with the new Taurus. And it's like, wait, what? What are we doing? What are we doing here? Because you got the Chariot at the heart of this. Even with the shadows, even with the heartache, even with the, you know, the losses, even with this new person that you've become, knowing your value, knowing whatever, it's time to take it out for a test drive, right? It's time to go take this new Taurus out for a spin. And just a little heads up, I know you guys have Uranus in your chart. There's the Aquarius connection coming in there. However, it's continual. And that's hard, man, for the King of Pentacles, because once he's committed to something, he builds it. He does it. He's like, all right, this looks like a nice spot, and then he's going to build a house there or something. Like he's that. That's not Uranian energy. That's very much, right, cool, what should we do? Let's go explore that. Great, done it. Let's go do something. Let's build something else. Tear it down. Let's try something new. And it's going to keep you on your toes. But in that sense, by doing that, by exploring new things, being new things, seeing yourself in a different way, you know, that is, and you may feel like you're constantly in the dark. But it's almost like even if you're in the dark, it's knowing what your worth is, knowing who you are, and going forward with that. So with the Chariot, it's the balancing of the head and the heart. And the King of Pentacles is very focused on his physical reality. And I've found that when people are very focused on their physical reality, that's when the moon comes up. And I actually have a lot of water coming in here. So I feel like the head stuff is what's missing. The heart stuff is what's missing. Why do I say that? Because we have swords, which that's the head. And then you have the moon, Pisces, The Chariot, Cancer, the King of Cups, Scorpio. So that's water energy, which is going to be heart energy coming in. And your head will always tell you, it will go historical. Remember when we got hurt here? It will try to come up with a plan. That combination there, the kind of will be what I was talking about at the beginning with the readings, right? That it might be, no, I'm a Taurus sun, so I can only get messages from Taurus, or, whatever it might be. It's that kind of a very strict, very logical, but it has to be through this one way. I want to be in a relationship, but it has to be a person who's 5'11", blah, blah, blah. Like, that kind of very specific. And that's not being open. Because there's no room for your feelings then in that, right? That's your head has dictated, this is what it has to look like. That person must be, it must be John from down the street. It must be that girl in Starbucks. It has to be that one person. It must be my ex. That job must be like this. And and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, trust me on that, but it does call for a deeper understanding of why. Why do I need it that way? And you may find that it's because it keeps you safe. Because it's a known quantity. You know what it's like to date people like that. You know what it's like to work in that area. You know what it's like to live in that area. It's where we're safe and comfortable. But the Chariot says it's time to move out of that. Now, whether that's literally moving or whether that's internally, but the Chariot is, we need to set a destination, a course, and we need to go for it. This is a victory card, yes, but it's victory through our own determination and efforts. So where are you going? And that's bizarre, right? It's almost a very kind of Knight of Cups. I know the King of Cups comes up, but it feels like the Knight of Cups. Why do I say that? Because the Knight of Cups knows how he feels, and he knows how he wants to feel. He knows what the dream is, the emotional dream, and the heart only, the language of the heart is feelings. This feels good. I want to feel like this. I want to express my love in this way. That's what it is. It's only earth, and especially earth and air, when they come up together, that's where we have a very specific plan. Now, specific plans are good because they can help us to stay on our course, but they are not good when we lose the curiosity aspect or the spontaneity. When if it doesn't look like, if my gift doesn't come in wrapped in blue wrapping paper with a pink bow, then I don't want it. Because that's not being open to your intuition, to your feelings, and to the path ahead. I've got a feeling your path's about to become very clear, Taurus. It is that. I mean, that's what I was saying about the moon. The moon is because you don't know what's coming up ahead. The Nine of Swords is stress, anxiety, worry, because what will happen? I don't know what's going to happen. The point of power is the present, guys. It truly is. Trust me on this. It truly is. When you're in the moment, you're going to look at, well, what can I do right now? What makes me happy right now? How do I feel right now? What honors me right now? And you can achieve so much by doing that. I mean, I gave the example of, there is another card under that. I'll talk about that in a moment. You can probably guess what it is. It's the sun. But, but I was talking about that building, clearing the space, building a house, right? But this is, you've not even laid the foundation and you're like, oh my God, what if the roof falls in? And it's like, there is no roof. Why are you worried about the roof? I get it. We can worry about it when we get there, but let's get the foundation down first. That's what the Nine of Swords is. That's why it says, things are not as bad as they seem, because we're not there yet. The Nine of Swords is going too far into the future. And so think about this with all of this kind of risk assessment and, I'm afraid, I don't know what's coming up ahead. Have we gone too far ahead? And is it because of the hurt and the loss that happened in the past? Are we projecting that into the future? Which, yeah, if you project it into the future, it will happen. It's very interesting. I don't know whose reading it was. I think it was Capricorn. I left the comment up, so it's still there. Maybe it was Capricorns. And someone left a comment about how all women are useless and cannot be trusted and blah, blah, blah. And something along those lines, which I left it up. Fair enough. That's that person's truth. That's that. But that person, they're right. They're absolutely right. They can never trust any woman in their life. They can't. They're absolutely correct. I know you're thinking, what the hell? Bear with me. Because that is their story. Because that is their story. Whatever heartache, pain, loss happened in their past, they are projecting that out into the future now. That will be their story. They are narrate. If you take on board that I am the story writer, the script writer, I am the director, I am the narrator of my story, of this movie that I'm in, then whatever story you tell and put energy and power behind it, take the effort to leave a comment like that, and it's an I statement. Every statement's an I statement that, on a channel, that is their story. I don't argue with them. They're correct. They can't trust anyone because they don't trust anyone. Do you see what I mean? It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. It is correct. It will happen that way. Please don't let that happen to you. It doesn't have to. I mean, if you remove those, you're sitting good. Time to move forward, away from this shit that happened in the past. Get more information now. Get into your field, and pick out your new dream, pick out your wish fulfillment. But that's too easy. That's why we bring all these different elements in, because this is great. I know what I'm worth, but where do I take that? What do I do with it? Great, I want to move forward, but I want to do it without any risk. Or I need to plan more. Why do you need to plan more? Because I'm worried. What if they say no? What if they do this? There's no guarantees ever. There's no guarantees ever. And maybe the only way to get more information is to start walking that path forward. One step at a time. Like, focus on where you are one step at a time. Because that's what the sun says. That's what the sun says. There is potential for happiness here. Are you going to focus on what's dark and what the worst case scenarios? Or are you going to focus on, the beauty and what could make you really happy here? The moon energy, and this is yin and that is yang. That's very contracted energy. That's like bringing it in. Oh, I don't want to do this because I'm afraid, right? This is curling up into a little ball because you don't want to go forward. The sun is expansive energy. It creates. We take action with this. We look at everything, and whatever we focus on, it will grow. This is our life force. This is creative energy coming through with the sun. Whatever you focus on, it will grow. So do you focus on where you want to go, on the destination, trusting that each path of that, the journey to that, will bring out for you? I'm going to tell you a story, actually. I told someone this morning. I was talking to someone. And sometimes this is how it feels. So I'll give you an example. And this is what we do. These are the cycles. And it's part of the spiritual path, and it's part of all these journeys that we go through. So, and this is the example. So say, for example, I said to you, right, Taurus, you're going to start hitting the gym, and I want you to be able to squat 50 kilos. Now, you're going to complain. First time, they're like, screw this, Jay, it hurts, blah, blah, blah. But you have to go. So every day you start going to the gym. You're there every day. Eventually, you're able to squat 50 kilos. Now, in that journey, that goal was set, right, to squat 50 kilos. Focused on that. You took the steps, started lifting weights, doing whatever, cardio, whatever you were doing in the gym. By the time you get to that 50 kilo weight, you love it. You're used to it. That journey has taught you so much to that you've started to enjoy the gym. It becomes comfortable, right? We sit there pretty. That's you. You've gotten mastery over something. Something that at first hurt you a lot, but you've gotten that. Now, what if I came in and said, right, great, 50 kilos, you've done it. Now you need to leave the gym. But you're like, wait, hang on a second. No, I'm at the gym now. I love going to the gym. I'm like, no. Now we're not squatting 50 kilos. Now I need you to fly. Now I need you to go out and show me that you can fly. And you would be pissed off. But that's what this feels like. It's very expansive. It's something big. It's a new path that's coming up. And the way that you can call it the universe, trust me, I've had this experience with myself, and I know it's me. It's my higher self, which is an expression of the divine, of this, whatever energies in the universe. My higher self is an expression of that. But my higher self is me. It is a part of me. And what my higher self, you want to call it God, source, spirit, universe, call it that. Whatever language works for you, use that. But what will happen is you will, if it's like, I don't want to fly, I want to go to the gym. And it's like, all right, cool. 100-foot wall will go around the gym. And it's like, cool, you can go to the gym. you have to learn how to fly over that 100-foot wall to get to the gym. So either way, you're going to have to do it. We make it harder on ourselves. We make it harder on ourselves. But it's about our growth and progression. And that's what this feels like. I tell that story because it feels like this. But what if I can't? Same way, right? The same way. And trust me, the reason I use that 50 kilos, squatting 50 kilos, because I was having that conversation with my trainer this morning. And I was thinking back on the journey that it took me. The journey that has taken me to get here from someone who could not even get up. I was spent 7 years in a bed, more or less, right? You know, that kind of energy. At that time, if someone had told me, oh, you're going to be going to the gym, I would be like, I'm not going to the gym. I can't even sit up. It seems, so how from that place of someone who's never spent a day in the gym, I'm sorry to use the gym, I know that triggers some people, it's not meant to, whatever it might be, cook gourmet meals, you know, pick whatever the thing is that you want here, or to be able to play a musical instrument. What is the point of the 9 of Swords? How can you know, that would have been me in bed, if you imagine that, ill, stressing out about what if I hurt myself pulling 50 kilos? And it's like, there is a whole journey between where I am to get to that point. And the sun is here to say, look at each step and focus on the potential for happiness in each given moment. This is coming up in the present, not the future, right now. You can focus on the shadows. You can focus on what you're trying to avoid. You can focus on what hurt you. But ultimately, that's just going to cause more fears of the future. What helps with that is this, the sun. What would you like to know more about? Positively, like, okay, well, let's figure out how to do that. What do I need to learn? It's that kind of energy. And by doing that, by looking at what makes you, how can you figure out what makes you happy? Not by looking at what's actually in front of you, not by overthinking it, but by feeling it out. King of Cups. How do I feel? How do I feel? And not even the value put, because the King of Pentacles, he puts value in the physical, like money in the bank, possessions, you know, commitments in relationships, all of that kind of stuff. I'm not saying that's bad. You have that down. You have that down. You can squat 50 kilos. But now we are learning to fly. And to be able to fly, that's going to come from your heart. That's going to come from your heart. And your heart has, for those of you that have done this, that's been healed, that heart is ready to go. For others of you, that might become apparent now, where, oh shit, I'm still telling those same stories. Same deal though. It will allow you to remove those swords, bring in hope and healing of this. Let's see why that King of Cups is there. He's intuitive, he's nurturing, he's caring, he feels. Now, his emotions do not rule him though. He runs his kingdom with his emotions. That's why he can sit in the sea. Do you see him sitting in the sea? Because it doesn't have power over him. He has power over his emotions. You know, if he feels anger, like think about an emotion. So he feels anger, he's going to direct that into something. If he feels happiness, you know, he knows that too must pass. Just like the swells and, you know, the tides of the sea, the ebbs and the flows. That's what happens with every emotion. Because what a lot of us do is we want to stay stuck in squatting the 50 kilos, right? In that emotion, whatever it is that made us feel good. But everything must be felt and let go of. Everything. Good, bad, ugly, all of that. I just want to say this, no matter what you guys get up to in December, I hope you will trust, and I'm saying this to everyone, because I've noticed it. Trust that you will get, it will be what you need. No matter what happens, it will be what you need. Even if it doesn't look like what you want, you will get what you need. Trust me on that. I love you guys very much. I will see you next time, but that's all for now. Goodbye.